So thank you, Dr. Deepa, for helping us
Pleasure.
out and talking to all our parents and about how complementary feeding should be started. So what do you feel that what is the right age for a parent to start feeding solid foods to a baby?
Okay. See, ideally, it has been found that the breast milk, mother's breast milk, is enough in terms of nutrients and calories and everything up till 6 months of age. But it's equally important to, because we see both extremes. There are some parents who want to only breastfeed till a little longer than 6 months, but some of them, start formula or other things very early in the child's life. So we need to make sure that 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding is enforced and recommended and encouraged. Meantime, it's equally important for us to explain that at 6 months, child needs a little more than mother's milk alone, because the iron, most importantly, iron is lacking, whereas the child's hemopoietic system is really at its peak of proliferation. So they need additional iron, additional proteins, and of course calories. So I think 6 months is the most ideal period, whether the child is on exclusive breastfeeding or formula, to start any amount of solids. So
Okay.
yeah.
So I mean, so 6 months is the best time
Yes,
to
it's the
start.
best time because the child is also better in terms of neck control and other things. So ideally, we don't recommend a child to be fed lying down. So a child has to be in a reclining posture, which is so anatomically as well as requirement wise, the 6 months is most ideal for starting solids.
Okay. So what do you feel are the trends that you see these days? With parents with very young children between 6 months to 1 year. What are the issues that you feel they're facing?
See, I feel, I mean, if it's only concerned with solids, I see a lot of parents are trying to start solids a little earlier. So by about there's also this pressure of joining back work. So they want to put the child on bottle and start the solid so that they can go to work at peace. So I see that there is a preponement of age at which the solids are being introduced. So that is a little alarming and worrying because allergies are definitely more common in children who receive solids much earlier. These proteins and other things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely that. And slightly later when the child becomes a little mobile around the 8-9 months when they start crawling or commando crawling and all that. What is the trend that you see then?
So that's another worrying thing that we are seeing, that a lot of screen is being used as a distraction technique for feeding, because they always realize that the child opens the mouth more easily when the child is distracted, watching a TV or showing something on the mobile. So here, instead of feeding over half an hour, their work comes down to 10 minutes. They'll finish in 10 minutes. And that is one part of the crowd. The other part I see is that, the parent running behind the child, a child who is crawling or, holding and walking. So the mother is constantly trying to go behind the child and feed. I see a lot of parents while I drive back home or something around lunchtime. I see a lot of parents standing on the road and feeding the child.
Yeah,
so, trying to distract them by showing the car and
a crow
vehicles,
and
something to that. That one thing that I feel I've been seeing from my childhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see a lot of mothers coming onto the road and
trying to feed the child. So, what do you think are the end results of either distraction feeding or force feeding like this?
Okay, so see, basically we all know that food is not just about appetite and other things. Absolutely. So it is also about a mental satisfaction, the satiety and the visual stimulation. All these are very important to to sort of create a positive feeling towards food. So very early, how you start, entire life of the child, the same thing is going to continue. So there has to be some kind of visual stimulation. The child should be aware that the child is being fed. So the child should be able to appreciate the taste, because everything happens at a parallel level. The main attention is towards what is being shown, whereas the food is like a something that is happening on the side. So we need to make sure that that thing stops, because
Yeah.
even if child ends up eating probably half of what the child would have otherwise eaten, but the satiety will be more and it will contribute more towards positive eating behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, so based on these aspects itself, we are trying to come out with some solutions so that we can help,
Yes.
parents and children develop a healthy environment around food. So, do you have anything that, you would like to share with the parents? Any advice or, how to create this positivity among
Okay,
food?
so couple of things. First of all, no screens, no distractions.
Mhm.
Like, okay, as much as possible, try to make it like a family event. Where everybody sits together,
Mhm.
and you feed the child. Everyone else is eating. So if the child sees that other family members are eating their food,
Mhm.
maybe not as early as 6 months, but by about 9 months, the child is able to appreciate what's happening around him or her. So the child is able to see, and they also develop this grasp inside grasp. So they will be able to pick up and eat. So you encourage self-feeding, and running behind is totally no. So there should be no running behind. So that way, I feel whoever can afford that segment of the society should get the child used to high chair, the feeding chair concept. So it makes your job easier. It makes the child's job easier. And another thing is, you create a positive this thing around that feeding time. So you just make it as a big, event, and you encourage the child to eat by himself or herself. And colorful foods, make it presentable. It should look good, first of all.
Absolutely.
So it should look good, and a little older child, we've always seen that, by naming the dish with their favorite character, like Chota Beam curry or something, it does have some, maybe a small percentage, but it does have some positive impact.
Yeah, absolutely. So inviting a child and presenting to the child what are all the dishes.
Yes.
And probably older children involving them.
Involving, absolutely. I feel that you take the child for vegetable shopping. You tell them to pick up food, whatever they want or they like, fruits. That's another thing, fruit introduction has become very late. They don't think that fruit is part of the diet. So it has been observed by studies that the earlier you introduce vegetables and fruits, the chances of the chances of the child accepting them later in life is much higher. So that's another thing that I want to stress. So involving and letting the child cook his or her own meal. A little older child make her own sandwiches, make her own dosa. Nothing wrong, no problems. You supervise. That's it. That there's a kick in that, right? So the child feels confident about.
I know, and more involved, and then the pleasure that the child, experiences while going and serving the family member.
It brings in a lot of positive
vibes around the entire food and food as a concept and environment. So thank you so much for it. And I'm sure a lot of our parents, when they have some queries or anything, I will definitely point them over to come and have a chat with you, so that you can counsel them for the right environment.
Surely.
Thank you so much.
Okay.